WVDMV Radio. I'm your host, Jennifer Dooley, and you're listening to West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles' premier podcast, Licensed to Innovate. If you love old cars, new cars, pickup trucks or motorcycles, if you love curvy roads or dirt roads, interstates or the drive home, or if you just love listening to your West Virginia friends and neighbors employed by the West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles tell you in their own words, in their own voices, how they're working to design innovations and efficiencies to make your West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles a better place for you. You've come to the right podcast. Later in the show, Harvey will be joining us with the news, and this episode features John Springer, Director of Vehicle Services. You're listening to Licensed to Innovate, West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles premier podcast, and I'm Jennifer Dooley. Good morning, John. Welcome to the show. You mentioned before we started recording, you have some of the best, most dedicated employees amongst the DMV, and I'm sure all the directors will say that, but let's start there.
So we have in all of Vehicle Services around 87 employees. So we are one of the larger sections of the DMV.
What could you say about your workforce when you're thinking about your...
So we have a tenured, dedicated staff of folks that are processing titles and getting license plates out across the state. A lot of employees have been there 20 plus years, have some 30 plus years. And they're all just a dedicated group of folks, just coming to work every day and doing the job for the citizens of West Virginia.
As far as the types of things that your section handles, what are the main categories?
Biggest part of it is title work. When you purchase a car, either at a dealer or from someone, you've either done that title in person at a regional office or it gets sent to us. Some of that is done electronically now. That's a newer thing within the last few years, but then some of that's still just a paper title that gets mailed into us that gets processed and turned around and sent back to the next owner or lien holder, as the case may be. But that is the most common thing. But with that comes license plates. Almost every title we do has a license plate attached to it. You're either buying a new plate or transferring your old plate or requesting a personalized plate, or some kind of specialty plate, but that is a big piece of it.
What type of customer or guests that come into the DMV do you see interested in those personalized or those specialty plates?
So we have a lot of just the general issue, as we call it, specialty plates. You have the wildlife plates that have been around for a long time. Then we have the military plates. A lot of people take pride in that, and we're very fortunate that we have a big selection of those, that people who qualify can get those. That's a very interesting one. But like I said, the wildlife plates are very popular, and then just some of the specialty plates. I personally have a personalized plate, and I've had some specialty plates. But yeah, it's the general issue. It's the standard plate is the most common plate, just because it's the basic price. But the other plates, the United We Stand and the 9/11 plate's been around since then. They have had a big following over the years. A lot of people have those. And then there's some about awarenesses. There's breast cancer awareness and childhood cancer awareness. So, particular causes, organ donation. So, we got a lot of different things that we cover with a license plate, and it brings attention to those particular topics. We also have organizations who go through a process to get their plate out into the public. Same thing, it brings awareness to their organization. There were 24 originally. Now we're well over 50 in that category. But again, it's for a specific organization. The last two we've done were the Realtors Association and the Hoops Children's Hospital. So again, it's just to bring awareness to their organization and what they're trying to do for the public.
With some of those plates, what are the types of numbers as far as, and I would love, I don't know if I would pick if I was going for one and the turtle or the bee. Mm-hmm. But with some of the organizations, you mentioned the Realtors being the recent one. Mm-hmm. How many plates end up being pressed to those types?
We usually do an initial run of 250. They have to have 100 to be launched. They have to have 100 paying customers in order to apply to get that process moving. That's what the law says. And it's been that way for some time. But yeah, there's always at least that minimum number, but 250 is our usual initial run of a plate, and then we've had some organizations that have been around a long time, or some of the universities that fall under that category. They have thousands of plates out there in circulation.
I wonder what makes a person think, hey, here's my organization. What about a specialty plate? Because, you think of, to get the word out there, a billboard or an ad or something. What makes you think
It's a process. So, how that works is they send us an interest letter. It's on our website, and it kind of explains the basic criteria of how it works. And then we actually set up a meeting. We've got 2 coming up this month with the groups. Explain the process in great detail of how it works, and from start to finish what it looks like, and their responsibilities, because they play a part in this. As an organization, they're actually responsible for collecting the fees and the paperwork for those first 100 submissions to get it going, and then every new plate for as long as it's active. So the organization plays a very important part for that. The DMV actually only comes in to produce the plate, and then the subsequent renewals that take place thereafter. So like I said, it can be a lengthy process. You get a 6-month window from start of here is the plate, you can sign up for it, to you have to have 100 applications. So some aren't successful. We've had a few of those, but some are. Like I said, the Realtor and Hoops were the most recent ones, and we've got some more in the pipeline.
From an idea to a piece of metal that you can put on your car, some of them are really standard, like lettering on words, but some of them have unique pictures and artwork and designs. Let's talk a little bit about some of the processes you went through collaboratively and working with people in designs.
Yes, so we used to have an employee here on staff that was our in-house designer. Fortunately, he's no longer with the agency, but he literally could just draw whatever someone came up with an idea, and we would put it on a plate. So the background, I guess you could say, which is the colorful part, can be just about anything, truthfully. It's a narrow space that it has to fit in. Our goal is readability for law enforcement and those types of things, so the lettering has to be a particular size, a particular font, visible at a certain distance. That's the things that we're concerned with. And then making it pretty, that's just in addition to. So, but yeah, the sky's the limit, truthfully. We've got some new ideas coming.
When you talk in those plates, like Jesse, the artist, and also a mural artist, so he did anything from a great big wall to a tiny little license plate.
Exactly.
But those license plates, inspire, I would say, pride. People would see, here's West Virginia, here's beauty.
Absolutely. So, I know me personally, if I'm traveling outside of the state and I see a West Virginia license plate on hey, they're from West Virginia. I wonder if I know them. I'm sure I'm not the only person that does that. So, yeah, it is a symbol of West Virginia. And, our license plate has looked very similar, the standard plate, for a long time. It's had subtle changes over the years, but our most recent addition was the little West Virginia emblem in the center of the plate. But yeah, it is a pride point for West Virginians.
You're proud of probably all of them. Any license plate you would see anywhere in the country.
Yes, and I know plates that we have that we can issue that I haven't seen on the road, and every time I see one, it's like, oh, that's the first time I've seen that actual plate on the road. We have a room with all of them in it, so I could go look at one, but actually seeing one on the road and in use, that's always something, or seeing a low number, so, that one's been around since the beginning of the issuance of that plate, so it's always a good pride point to have.
What's a state you have traveled to?
Oh gosh, I've been to pretty much the eastern half of the country. So
Alabama?
I have been to Alabama.
Mississippi?
I have been to Mississippi.
So you're somewhere kind of a little bit far from here, not all the way around the world. Yeah. But what are some license plates that you see from other states that you,
it's always interesting whenever I see a plate that has the same theme as ours. So Friends of Coal is a good example. I'm from the southern part of the state, and it's a very popular plate. Virginia has a version of that. Kentucky has a version of that I know of. Maybe some other states do too, but those are 2 that I've seen, and I like our version of it. They're all 3 similar, but I think ours looks better. But it's one of those kind of things. And then Kentucky, I know, has some wildlife type plates. again, I think ours look really nice. The animal depictions that we have and the way they're represented, they're very nice plates. So yeah, you do get that little comparison to other states to see what they have. West Virginia, population-wise, is a smaller state. 2 million, give or take, residents. So we don't, a state with 10 million plus people, Kentucky or Virginia, has more plates to offer. They also have more citizens to purchase said plates because it's not a cheap process either. It does take time and money to introduce these plates. So when we do that process, we make sure it counts and put a lot of thought and effort into it. But again, it's nice to see what others look like compared to what ours look like.
How do you get the ink on the metal?
So I have not actually witnessed the stamping process myself. They call it rolling. But the folks at Prison Industries that make our license plates, depends on the type of plate. There's two different. There are flat plates that don't have the raised letters. We don't have a lot of those, but then we have the plates with the raised letters, and then it's rolled through a press and the numbers are stamped into it, and then the ink is applied, and then a protective coating is applied to that. So it is a process, and they crank thousands of them out a month. So we keep months worth of plates on hand at all times. We never want to run out of license plates.
That's for sure. So how long have you been with DMV?
Going on 12 years.
How long do you intend to be here?
I'll be here till I retire, so I've probably got about 14 more years to go. So
why is it that you want to come back to DMV every morning and work with license plates and registrations?
I enjoy my job at the DMV. I've worked in other areas besides vehicle services in my time here. This is 4 years, going on 5 years I've been in this job, but I worked in regional offices before that. So I like interacting with people, whether it's here in the office or the public. I enjoy that. It's a lot of great folks here that we work with. It is truly one big family in the groups that we work in. And it's just a great place to be. I enjoy working for the state. I like the stability that it brings. We know our job and what we're doing, and we come to work every day to help the citizens.
That's awesome. And you said 87 people in your section?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've been talking to John Springer with West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles on our premiere episode of the new DMV podcast. We'll take a break and come back after the break.
I'm Amy Boggs with the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program. The mission of our program is to reduce crashes, serious injuries, and fatalities on West Virginia's roadways. We focus on unsafe behaviors and work to get people to change their unsafe behaviors, such as wearing a seatbelt correctly, obeying the speed limit, not driving impaired or distracted. We educate the public on these issues, and we fund media efforts and extra law enforcement efforts. In the coming months, we will be raising awareness of impaired driving, proper use of seatbelts, distracted driving, and running stop signs and red lights. Safety is everyone's responsibility, so please do your part. Stay tuned and stay safe.
I'm Harvey, here to bring you your West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicle news. First up, on February 1st, 2026, the Transportation Security Administration will begin requiring all airline passengers to complete an extra identity check and pay a $45 fee if they do not have a real ID, passport, or other acceptable identification. West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles is here to help you get your real ID. You will need your birth certificate, any name change documents, and 2 proofs of physical address. Your DMV office can answer questions and make every step in the process as easy as possible. Stop by your local DMV or get a head start on gathering your documents on our website, dmv.wv.gov. And while we're talking about identification, Mobile ID is growing. With Mobile ID, you can get your driver's license on your phone. It is accepted at a growing number of locations and available for Apple and Android phones. Mobile ID is Real ID compatible and it's super portable. For those who like to travel light and as a backup to your physical driver's license, it's one more way to stay organized and one less thing to worry about. Find out more at dmv.wv.gov. I'm Harvey with the news. I'll be talking with you soon.
Thank you, Harvey. I have my real ID, but I don't have my mobile ID yet, so I need to jump right on that as well. understand it's quite easy to do. So you've been listening to West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles' premier podcast, Licensed to Innovate. I'm Jennifer Dooley, your host, and I'll be joining you again soon for another show featuring another fascinating aspect of the West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles as we work to become a more efficient agency, an innovative agency, and above all, a welcoming agency for our friends and neighbors all around West Virginia. You can visit us online at dmv.wv.gov. As our Commissioner Everett Frazier says, you can even visit us online if you're frying an egg in your kitchen. So join us again next time and stay tuned to Facebook for new episodes. Until then, safe travels.